Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Fashion Frenzy. I'm your host, Michelle. Are you ready to get dressed up? This week on Fashion Frenzy, I'm speaking to Bienda Nkwanda, who is the CEO and creative designer of Golden Tribe. I hope you enjoy this episode as we look at the fashion industry and how it has revolved over the years. Stay tuned. All right, so today on the show, I'm joined by Bienda Nkwanda, who is the CEO and the creative designer of Golden Tribe. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure having you. So tell us a bit more about your brand, Golden Tribe. Why that particular name? How did that come about?
A lot of people ask that. Golden Tribe. Basically, when I was registering my brand, because you have to have a name to register, I had to come up with something, but it wasn't just off the bat. I wanted to go with something that was dear to me and represented something that I believed in. And Golden Tribe is just merely a representation of my generation, the new age, the millennials. I feel like it's so many young Africans doing so many great things, like never before. So, and then it was just like the golden generation. That was what came to mind. But then I switched up the end because tribe, it's like Africa. Almost every country has different tribes. So Golden Tribe, it's like a rebirth of the idea of tribes. We're just like a golden generation. We're doing so many great things, and it's just very refreshing. So that's what I wanted to represent as a brand. It's just a new age, a revolution, and just something positive.
Okay, that's different.
It is.
And when did you start designing?
I started designing when I was 13 years old,
Wow.
like sketching and trying to put my ideas down. Thank you to Fashion TV, because I just sat down one day and so like the child was just flipping through channels and parents' TV is good for your children. I flipped through channels and just found it there, and it was really amazing to me, like see these designers doing like great things. It was almost shocking for me because it's like people can do that with fabric of all things. So I just started sketching at a very young age, and I think far as sewing goes, it's never been my favorite thing to do. But as I got older, I learned I have to learn how to do this. If you want your brand to be strong, you have to know almost every bit of it. So I think when I was like 16 or 15, I tried once. I made a horrible dress, and then I put my machine away for another year.
This is not for me.
I was just like, bye, I don't need this. And then like a year and a half later, I got back, because it's who I am. I always have to go back. I went back and just started trying. It's a step-by-step process, and I think 13 years old, started designing, and up until now, so I think it's been an interesting journey so far.
Okay. And what would you say you drive your inspiration from? Where does that come from?
Inspiration comes from everywhere, literally. But for me, it's usually just God. Because if I force myself, I sit down like I need to come up with something, force inspiration out of myself. It never happens. So like at the most random of times, it's just like something happens, like this and that. So it's just like it's God, really. No other explanation.
And how would you describe your personal sense of style?
My sense of style, it's funny. My business partner, who couldn't make it today, so I was actually talking to her about this the other day, because I never figured, like, what is my style? Because I dress very, like, I'm not very glamorous and stuff, but I'm also not very street, so it's like in between. So she's like, your style is a pinup girl and Tupac put together. I was like, okay, that's good, I guess. So my style is just, I like to try different things, but it always has to be edgy, because I'm not too girly as such. So it's just, I try different things here and there.
And when did Golden Tribe start?
Golden Tribe started in 2014.
Okay.
Yes, the second half of the year. That's when I decided I'm going with this. Come rain, come sunshine. This is what I'm going to do.
Okay. What has it been like for you in the industry as a designer? What are some of the challenges that you've come across? What do you feel is, this is a big hindrance for us as designers?
There are a lot of challenges as far as just business-wise in general. Zambia being a small country, and I think at the time I was starting out, like, as people, we weren't very exposed to much, so you're coming out as a designer. Now, problem number one is people want to buy from a brand they know. They don't really believe in, like, local and
takes time
support.
to actually
So it takes time to get people acquainted with your brand and actually think you can do something just as good as international ones. And another challenge business-wise is just the economic situation in our country has never been very friendly, but I guess you just have to work hard all the time. So you have to be very disciplined, because if you take this like one day you're serious, next day you're just like, it's hard, I can't do it. You can't have that attitude. And I've had days where I'm just like, why am I putting myself through all this? Why?
I should just quit and just forget about it.
Just quit and go. But at the end of the day, it's always about the bigger vision that you've had from the start, because you don't just start like at random, okay, it's a hobby, let me just make clothes and register, because there's always a greater vision. So that's what I stick with and always believe in. And when times are hard, I must always remember like there's something bigger we're working for. So I think you just have to work hard and because if we don't start, who will? We, as our generation right now, we can give up if we want to. The next generation will come and experience the same problems. It's not going to get easier if we don't work and push through everything that's like troubling us right now. So I think better days are coming. People are coming around right now. Like there's more support for local brands, obviously. And as a fashion industry, we're growing. Even though we're very small still, we're advancing. And it's interesting to see what will become of it in the next few years. So I believe in it. Yeah.
Okay. And what would you say is your favorite part about being a fashion designer?
My favorite part, I feel like as a person, I'm a little bit reserved and more on the calm and side. So when it comes to fashion, my career, I get to be bold. I get to just like push the boundaries, because people will see me on a normal day and it's like, oh hey, how are you? And then if I'm doing a fashion show, I always do the most, like dress to the T, and everyone's just like, who are you? What are you doing? How did this come about? So I think with my career, I get to be a bit more expressive, and it's something I'm very passionate about, and I get to be myself. So that's my favorite part about it.
I always thought that if I ever got a chance to become a fashion designer, that I would probably make the most clothes for myself.
First.
But then every fashion designer I've talked to doesn't seem to worry about themselves when it comes to making your own clothes. And
this is like, people ask this, like, why do you designers never like dress up in your own stuff the most? Like,
you're simple, you're classy, you're not too relaxed, but you can tell that this person is dressed. You know what I mean?
I feel like,
but it's not like flashy.
It's not flashy and stuff. But as creative people, really, like, you just want to work and put your stuff out there and see it, because once I make something and I'm done with it, it's like next project, move on. I don't want to put it on and be but like I've come around. I think like in the past year I've dressed myself more in Golden Tribe stuff, so it's like, okay, I guess I can wear some Golden Tribe stuff, but really I just want to create and see everybody look good. For me, it's just like I could dress up simple and it's okay for me.
Okay. And there's this perception, a lot of people that I've talked to, especially at some of these fashion events, will tell you the fashion designers will make something that would not be worn by an ordinary person. But I've seen really, really good designs, amazing designs. The country has amazing talent.
True, yeah.
And I feel that people need to get to a point where they need to appreciate what Zambian designers are putting across. They don't seem to get it. It's like, okay, where would I wear that short?
Yes, I understand. I feel like, as you said, like people are not yet, like they haven't fully come around to where they see something and they're like, I have to find somewhere to wear it. And that is, people are very reserved in this country. Again, I said, we're still like coming around to a lot of things. But I feel like, I don't know, it's just, I barely understand people, because for me, it's like if I see something that's amazing and out of the box, I'm just like, I don't care if I have somewhere to wear it, I'm going to find somewhere to wear it. And really, it's just like appreciating a designer's work. It's just like, this is something they worked hard at. You're not just wearing a piece I put together at random. There's a lot of hard work I put into it, the blood, sweat, and tears. Like, it's a lot of work. You're not just wearing something I just at random did. This is like something that I've been working on.
Time. You envisioned it, and you knew that it was going to come out this way.
So as a society, I think we're slowly becoming a bit more cultured for as creative things and arts are coming around. So I think we'll grow. We'll grow.
Absolutely. Now I do know that different fashion houses obviously have a particular, distinct style and distinct way of putting out their designs. What would you say is your distinct style as Golden Tribe? Is it something classy? Is it funky? Is it youthful? What are your designs like?
As Golden Tribe, I feel like with every piece we make, the one thing that will always be there and be present is just class. It has to be classy. It doesn't matter if I'm doing something edgy, if I'm doing something crazy and out of the box. There's always that element of like, it's just very classy and calm, and it just brings something out of you. That's just the one thing we stick to. Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of mix it up.
We
so you don't have
up,
like just one specific style.
We don't just have okay, we just make dresses. Like I said, being a creative person, it's a stressful thing because you want to do so many things, but
That's
really
true.
that one element at least is what we put into everything. It has to be classy at least. It has to be chic and make you feel good. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think is lacking in the fashion industry with regards to being able to help fashion designers get out there and get their work out there, not just on the Zambian market, but the international market as well?
And to get our brand, I feel like, not to be very comparative and stuff like that, but if you look at Nigeria, for example, their fashion industry is amazing. You can pit them against Chanel if you want to, and there's a designer in Nigeria that will show up and just blow everyone away.
That's true.
And that, for me, I understand because I'm not just like a creative designer. Another part of me is being an entrepreneur. I'm like a serial business person. So the Nigerian creative industry is very much supported by their government and the corporate businesses as well. So if you look at us, when you say there's a corporate versus company that is trying to put together an event, there's only two things they'll think of first. It's either, let's think of football, and then it's only now that they speak of musicians as well.
True.
So like far as designers, we're like way in the back seats. Like people don't like put us at the forefront of anything. And in college, I remember I did a research paper on the fashion industry in the UK. The revenue that came through the fashion industry was like 20 million, trillion, not million, trillion pounds a year. So if we
That's
push
a lot
our
of money.
exactly, because fashion never dies. People always want to wear stuff, and so I feel like just as far as even if companies say they don't want to support us, fine, but like people as well that buy our products can also take the stand and be like, okay, I'm going to support my local brand. I'm going to support something doing good, because if like the average person in Zambia is more likely, you put Zambian fashion, South African fashion, they're more likely to go get something from SA.
That's true.
From us instead of a local brand. So I guess it's just as people we need to believe in ourselves more and be more assertive as far as our industry goes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you feel that as fashion designers, perhaps some of them do play an important role in, let's say, giving this perspective of the fashion industry to the general public? I've come across certain designers who will tell you, oh, I did this design, and you look at it, the finishing is not proper, certain things are not right about this design. And so I feel that we as the people that are actually buying this clothing, we get to a point where we're just like, what, fashion designers are not serious in Zambia. Do you feel that, some of the fashion designers are contributing to the negative perspective that we have as customers?
I totally understand that. Like, that is very 100% present. And it's for one reason mainly. There's no science about it. It's really one thing. It's discipline and learning. People don't want to go through the entire process of learning your art and your craft and what you're doing and how to put it across the business. People just want to come, like, okay, I have an idea, I am a designer here, wear my stuff. Like, it's still a business, it still like contributes to the economy. People want to take it seriously, so you as a designer also have to take the responsibility upon yourself and say, I'm going to sit down, take my time and learn day by day how to make my product the best it can be. Because I've seen that a lot, because I do a lot of fashion shows and I've seen it. I'll just be like, okay, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. So it's really about the finishing is also just as important as your idea, because the way you express your idea matters. So you have a great idea, but let's say there's a few edges that are wrong. I'm not going to care. I'm just going to walk away. So we just need to be disciplined and learn. Time is here. It's not going anywhere. The industry will always be here. So just take yourself through that process and learn, and you will be like one of the best there is. Yeah.
I like the point that you raised earlier, about us as people taking pride in our designs and our fashion industry, I reached a point where whenever I was traveling out of the country, I would make sure that I carried something that would be from a Zambian designer. You know, and I didn't do that to please myself, or I mean, yes, I wanted to look good, obviously.
Definitely, yes.
But you know, it's to show the people that I'm going to meet out there that, look, I'm from Zambia, and this is Zambian, and this was done by a Zambian person, and I support Zambian. You know, so our people need to reach a point where, oh, I'm here, and it's a red carpet event, and I'm not wearing Gucci, no, I'm wearing Golden Tribe. You know, I'm wearing Golden Tribe. But you find that even an event that is within our country, a lot of these well-known people, the celebrities, will show up in something that is not Zambian. You know, so how do we lift up our own if we're going to show up in Gucci and you know, Chanel or whatever it is that we're wearing?
We have, like, for us as designers in Zambia, we have like our work cut out for us, because this is why I like made it a point to just not just be a creative person, but also be business savvy and like learn my business and how to put myself out there. So I've come to notice that people, when they're going to, let's say, a red carpet event or even a music awards in the country, people would just like wear a skirt and a shirt and just not care and just show up and go. But I've learned that you have to teach people, like, it's a certain kind of lifestyle. You have to sell the idea to them and put that image out there. So I just put myself to a point where, like, I will contact music awards, like reach out to them and say, I have designs, I have a few pieces ready. I want to dress so and so people that are coming to your event. So I feel like through that, next time people will be like, oh, at the last awards, this person came through and they were dressed to, slowly they will adapt, and everyone will just feel that need to say, I'm going to be on point, and I'm going to, you know, I won't slack, I will support local. So yeah, it's just, if you see people are not taking the step, you take the step then. You bring it up. So I feel like we have our work cut out, but we need to just put ourselves out there and continue pushing. Yeah,
that's true. I like that. Last time I had a conversation with someone, and they said, look, we are doing this, okay, but if we contact fashion designers to come through and dress these people, they want to get paid. And I'm like, okay, yes, I do understand, you know, it's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business, and they have to survive. But like you put it, you know, you want your work to be seen. And if people will not come to you, go to them. Because if they wear it, definitely others are going to see it, and they're going to ask, they're going to be curious, where did you get this piece? Oh no, it's Golden Tribe. And so your name sort of, but then I feel a lot of fashion designers have reached a point where they just, it's not necessarily calling it big-headed, but you reach a point. It is big. Okay, I was trying to be modest. Yeah, you know, you become big-headed and you say, I cannot dress this person, and I cannot do this, and I cannot do this. But then you have to look at the end result.
Definitely,
where is it going? How am I going to reach the target that I want to reach? You know,
that is very important. It's back to the point I mentioned before. It's all about discipline, and just people don't have the patience to say, okay, this year let me not focus on the money part of it. Let me just put my brand out there and dress so and so many people that are in my capacity. But people today are just like out for the money, and you know, a lot of designers, it's not even news. Ask anybody that will approach Zambian designers. There's like a level of, you know, big-headedness, and people are just too comfortable in their own zone. But it's like, you have to calm down. You haven't yet made it. There's always an industry bigger than yours. There's always a designer bigger than you. So it's just, there's a vision. So if you don't have that vision, you know, you have somewhere you want to get, then I feel like you will be that big-headed person. So you can't blame a lot of people. Maybe for them, they've made it where they are right now. That's the best they want to get to. So really, it's just word to any young designers coming up, be patient, you know, learn ways of putting yourself out there. Once you do that, the money will always follow you. That's the thing. Just get around, find a way to get yourself out there, and money will come. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I did have a conversation with a model in one of the episodes, and she pointed out the fact that we're called by fashion designers, you know, to dress up in their designs at their fashion shows or whatever event that they're showcasing at. And whenever we want to showcase what they have, you know, through a beauty pageant or whatever it is that they're doing at that particular time. Most designers do not come out, and help them out.
Yes.
But most of these models, in most cases are not well paid, and sometimes they're promised portfolios and stuff like that, so that's another way as well. Because if you have a model that's let's say taking part in Miss Zambia or Miss Unza or any other pageant, and they approach you and they say, oh, I'd like you, even if you can't dress them for every single category, there's always that one that you can give yourself and say, okay, maybe I'll do this, I'll take on the casual, or I'll take on the office look, or whatever it is. And they sort of help you as well, because people will see that this is my brand and it's out there. Yeah,
I think this is one thing also as designers we have to come around to, because it's like our industry is small. We've come like to terms with that fact, but also we don't want to deal with the realities and how to push ourselves forward. Okay, we get it, you don't have enough money to pay all the models that will come through, but figure out a way you can do something that will benefit them. And when they come through to call you and say, okay, I'm having an event, I need help with a dress, I need help with an outfit, that is marketing for you.
Absolutely.
Equally as it is for them. You can help them help you. So it's just always, and again, two sides to the coin. I've had models before call me and say, I'm doing an event, I'm doing a pageant, I need a dress, would you help me? And I always help. Always up to help. And I understand this is how we will go forward.
Absolutely.
You always figure out some way you can benefit the other person, because our industry, it's like domino effect.
Yeah.
Designers affect models, photographers, makeup artists, we're all affected. So we need to just help each other, figure out a way to help. It's not always money. Eventually, I know, we'll get to a point where we're able to pay as much people as we want to. So
that's true.
it's just figuring out a benefit, really, and thinking about the other person. Put yourself in their shoes and how you can help them. So, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. People just need to calm down. Yes.
Okay. And maybe in a nutshell, as we summarize, any last words of encouragement that you'd like to give to fellow designers?
For me, really, the people I'm concerned most about is any upcoming designers that there are. Always be patient. Take your time and learn. And also, one thing is never forget who you are as a designer or as a brand. Because I've seen many people, you're upcoming, you have so much talent and so much, people believe in you, but then you get to a point and you lose all the creativity that we saw, that we learned about. So always stay true to yourself, know your brand, know how to get yourself out there. And also, it's not a problem to learn from somebody else, because you're new in the industry. Straight off the bat, you want to start a company. Take your time, learn from somebody that's existing in the industry, and really, there's always somebody out there willing to help. So just always, be patient, calm down, and be disciplined and dedicated, most importantly. If we're not dedicated and hardworking, our industry will stay right where it is right now, and it won't go anywhere.
And I always say, be open to criticism.
Criticism is the hardest thing in our industry, especially for me. I think I'm like the hardest person on myself ever. So I will put my everything into every piece I make. So when someone criticizes and says, okay, I don't like that didn't look good, I always take it the hardest. I used to take it very hard. I will just shut down and be like, what, here's your designing career, keep it, it's yours, and just sit down. But like I've learned, criticism, it helps you to build and grow. You have to get opinions from everywhere, because if you're not just selling to yourself, for you, great, you love what you're doing, but it's about the people at the end of the day. This is your money and where it's coming from. So learn to take criticism and learn. Don't take it and bring yourself down. You're going backward.
Maybe as Golden Tribe, are you guys working on anything exciting that we should look forward to in 2017?
2017, we have planned a lot of stuff coming forward. So everybody needs to just go find Golden Tribe on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Oh, yeah, I was getting to that.
Definitely.
Can you give us the Twitter handle?
Yes. For our Golden Tribe, you can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and Instagram. The page is same name everywhere. It's Golden Tribe, except for the tribe is spelled TRAIB. So follow us on all parts of social media, and we have a lot of new stuff coming up, a lot of projects, working with a lot of different people. So this will be a great year for us. So stay on the lookout. We have a lot of stuff coming through.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Bienda, for taking the time to be with us today on the show.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. All right, so that was Bienda Nkwanda, who is the CEO and creative designer of Golden Tribe. Stay tuned. Alright, so that was what we had for you on this week's episode of Fashion Frenzy. Special thanks to our usual host, Mika Group of Hotels, and of course, Biandang Kwanda, who is the CEO and creative designer of Golden Tribe. Until next time, remember to wear it well and dress with pride.